Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today I'm going to be showing you my best game on my free-to-play account, at least with regards to the number of kills that I've been able to achieve in a single battle of World of Tanks. Now, in the comments down below, let me know what was the vehicle that you got the most kills in World of Tanks, and I'll be writing down the names of all of the Panzer II drivers, because you're all filthy. No, look, it's a vehicle. If you manage to get your kills in it, you got your kills in it. It's just, I did not expect that I would be doing it in an A43 of all tanks. Now, on my main account, where I have all of the advantages, my highest kill game was actually 12 in an E75, which I'm quite happy about because usually you get more kills towards your lower tier games, and especially when you're in a matchup like this and you're playing against tier 5 and tier 4 tanks in a tier 6. Now, the A43, I just wouldn't really consider it be a vehicle that I would manage to pick up so many kills in. Although tier 6 is probably the tier that you would want to play to be able to achieve a high kill game. At least, that's the way that I feel about it. But of course, you know, low tiers and overpowered tanks like the Panzer II, that's a whole nother question. But the A43 is just such a bizarre tank. It's kind of like a T-34, the tier 5 Soviet medium tank that's actually a very, very good vehicle when you use it well, and the T-28 at tier 4 is also pretty good as well. Jumped up to tier 6, and you have the same kind of gun as you had at tier 5 on the T-34, but you're a little bit faster, well actually significantly faster, and I guess you've got some hit points to go along with it, but really, to all intents and purposes, apart from being faster, this vehicle is kind of just like having a T-34 from tier 5 up at tier 6. It does have some strengths, however. A lot of players make the mistake on the T-34 of using the 76mm. I personally take that from what I've learned, that the 57mm is better on that vehicle, and have bumped it up to tier 6, and I'm using the 57mm here. I'm not sure if that's because I hadn't unlocked the 76mm yet, because I was barely out from being stock on this vehicle. But the 57mm, I just feel like I can overwhelm people with my firepower. And also, when you need to, you can fire premium rounds, which have 189mm of pen. And I was really surprised in this position that I was clearly still spotted. So maybe the VK3001H has really good view range, maybe they set up binoculars, and probably my camera rating is not great. Either that or there's something sneaky around that we haven't been able to figure quite out. But in this kind of a situation, I really want to go after this VK3001. Now, I literally think that VK3001 must be using binoculars right now, or there's some kind of sneaky tank destroyer around. I can't even figure it. Even in post-game, I should have been able to figure it out. But all I can guess is that VK has an incredible view range on their tank. And unfortunately, even though I've managed to get my repair kit on cooldown, I now lose my engine power as well. And so you're going to see just how slow this vehicle is going to be, at least for the next 60 seconds. Whenever this happens in World of Tanks, I realize that back in the day, repair kits were single use. In some ways, single-use repair kits were actually more fun to play against, because if you were in a light tank or a medium tank and you saw somebody use your repair kit, you were like, oh, ho, ho, and there was no funny equipment in the game, so that they could repair their tracks really quickly, or they could have very durable tracks. And so one of my favorite moments, and a skill that I really miss in World of Tanks, is seeing players drive circles around vehicles while stopping and making sure that they're securing damage to tracks as well. I really miss that. But yeah, the idea of that if I was back in the day that I wouldn't be able to repair my engine for the entire game now, that would be incredibly painful. So we just had a huge moment there, and I did load a lot of gold rounds to be able to achieve it, because that's a T-3485M. That is one of the most overpowered tanks, I would say, tier for tier in the game. The T-3485M is kind of like this vehicle, but just better frontal armor, a little bit slower, a much better gun as well with the same kind of DPM, and with alpha damage that, as we can see earlier on in the battle, did chunk off 208 of my hit points, whereas I have to shoot them 3 times to be able to deal that kind of damage. Although I'd like to clarify, that was a T-3485M rolling high, because I believe its regular damage is 180, even though it has a staggering rate of fire. And the T-3485M is one of those tanks that you would expect to be able to do really, really well in a matchup like this. With the A-43, a bit more of a glass cannon in this scenario. So, the situation in this game was looking kind of bleak. We were down by 4 tanks, now down by 5 tanks, but luckily, it looks like my team distracted them in the town, and that will allow me to go to town on the self-propelled guns here. Now, I get a little bit lucky that the AMX-13AM high explosive shell doesn't even damage the side of my tank. I guess my shells managed to absorb it completely because I didn't have a repair kit for another 20 seconds, and I was really worried about getting caught out by either the Skoda T25, the VK3601, or even possibly the Stug, who has most likely relocated. And there's also an M8A1 that we haven't seen in this game at all. So I'm hoping that the T-3485M on my team is going to advance along with me because they are hoarding pretty much about 66% of our team's remaining hit points. So I need that T-3485M to at least attract the fire from the enemy team. And a T-3485M in this kind of a scenario is a very meaty tank. That's why I was firing the gold rounds at that T-3485M on the enemy team earlier, because I knew how close this game was, and I knew that I just had to shut down the most powerful target on the enemy team as quickly as possible. And any one of those bounces, once we finally caught them out in the open, could have let him live, and that would have been, wow, it could have been the end of our chances to be able to come back into this game. Alright, so clearly there's a couple of tanks in the cap circle, and I realized, what? There's a Stug on the right as I was trying to come round. We quickly finished the Stug, but I need to get out of here because there's an M8A1. And you see that I actually reversed a little bit to do a 3-point turn, because what I'm doing is I'm remembering where the M8A1 was and using the roof of the building, or the apex of the building there, to be able to avoid the line of sight from the M8A1, because I might need all of these hit points, especially if I'm going toe-to-toe with the VK3601 at the end of the game, who has 220 alpha damage on their quite meaty gun. So the Skoda T25 comes around the corner, and we've managed to track them now in the open, and that is where this tank is delicious. That poor Skoda T25 probably can't figure out that we're shooting him through that archway, and just like that, look how quickly this thing gets out the DPM, because it has 2,200 damage per minute. There's a reason why it's usually either autoloaders or high damage per minute tanks that manage to pick up a lot of kills. Auto reloaders, and especially the Italian ones, or I should say auto reloaders, are incredibly good because you can fire the shells one by one and then wait until you've got enough in the magazine to be able to finish off the vehicle. This situation, and for this tank, is kind of like an autoloader all along. Oh, that was nearly a disaster. I fluffed a shot into the tracks, not hitting the back of the T6 medium, aka the baby Sherman there, and I nearly took an extra 110 damage from the T6 medium, which would not give me enough hit points to be able to handle any of the remaining tanks. So I'm trying to fire through some of the rubble that we have around here to see if we can hit the M8A1. I'm going to fire a few blind, but you see that we can't actually see the shell. Well, we can see the shell, and we don't see it disappearing, meaning that we're not hitting the M8A1, and we can try and focus on something else. So right now, it's about using the fact that we've got the T-3485M as a distraction plan and trying to flank around. I don't want to go towards my right, not because I didn't think that there was a tank there, but because I was worried that the M8A1 might be trying to flank back. So in this situation, the front-mounted turret of the A43 is actually pretty cool for side-scraping out, because they don't manage to catch the front of our hull so cleanly, and the baby little T-34 1941 on the enemy team bounces off our side armor, and we finish them off. But here is that M8A1, who I guess was trying to flank us, and this is why it was so important for me to be able to try and get the side. I believe this M8A1 knows exactly what they're doing, and that's why they're trying to surround us and flank. And in this situation, I knew I could take a shot or two from the M8A1. So it's about saying, all right, I'm making my stand. Maybe you're going to do damage to me, but I need to do damage to you in this scenario. And for some reason, there seems to be a bishop on our team who's like, yawn. I guess the bishop has been maybe cheering for the enemy team. Ah, yeah, look, what a dream team, says the bishop earlier on in the game. I guess because we let them down. Imagine that. Imagine the bishop being so bitter that they're now almost cheering for the enemy team, as we are on 9 kills, 3,000 damage, and boom! That's our 10th in the A43. And that was the most kills that I've ever managed to achieve, at least so far, in World of Tanks on my free-to-play account. Obviously on my main account, where I have all of the advantages, all of the premium consumables, all of the incredibly skilled crews, I've managed to get 12 in an E75, although that was very many years ago, and I still, every time I log in, I'm just hoping for that next one that one-ups it. But I was still chuffed with the round in an unexpected tank the A43. So an ace tanker here for our 1,632 base experience, and I was super chuffed about that because this was my second win of the day in the A43. So that also got a 5 times experience boost, that then I added the 3 times experience multiplier from having a premium account because I'm trying to undertake the mission marathon to be able to get the Stridsvagn K at the moment, if you're wondering why I have a premium account on my plays for free account. And so this has ended up being something stupid. I think like near 20,000 experience, getting halfway towards the A44 in a single game. Now, I did lose 500 credits even with a premium account in this game, and I would have lost 17,000 credits without a premium account. But when you're pushed to the limits trying to get 10 kills, securing a pools medal, which is the first on this account, yeah, I think I can afford 536 credits. And when we look at the fact that I also damaged 3 other tanks in this game that was subsequently killed by our allies, we damaged 13 out of 15 players on the enemy team in this round of World of Tanks. Yeah, we definitely had to be involved in this one. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that's it for today. Really hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And if you're watching this video as it goes live on Sunday, I'm probably having the stream of the year right now. Thanks to all of you. As I mentioned, on Thursday, I have exclusive drops on my Twitch channel where you can get yourself 15 premium consumables, 4 personal reserves, and a day of premium just for watching the stream today. And also, it's going to be QuickyBaby's Derp Daddy Day. So come along and try and win a share of 50,000 gold by playing your KV2 or alternatively your KV2 Premium if you have that one instead for the next couple of hours, with first place winning 10,000 gold and even down to 20th place winning 1,000 gold. And if you don't want that, I'm also going to be doing a tech tree showcase on the AMX-50 Foch B, which is possibly one of the most devastating tanks you ever want to sit in front of in World of Tanks, or don't want to sit on, or sit in front of, as the case may be. So yeah, I'm pretty hyped. Can't wait for it. It's going to be a great one today. Really looking forward to seeing all of you. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.